Welcome back to Talking Pop Culture. I nearly said Pop Talking Culture then. Where we're going to go over our top 5 favorite sports. As always, we have Mark with us and we have Drew from Direct Market Variant.
Got it. Well done.
Hit them up with a sub. Got their link in the description below. If you haven't done so, hit the sub here. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Please, as we do our top 5s, let us know your opinions, your favorite sports in the comment section below. Now, this will be interesting. Very interesting. Mark, what do you got at number 5?
Number 5, I've got cricket. So, obviously a traditional Australian sport. Well, it was made by England, but yeah. So, I don't know. Cricket relaxes me. So, obviously, I played a little bit when I was younger, but not really any good. But I always loved bowling aspect of it. So I'm a big Josh Hazelwood fan now. Back in the day, I was Dizzy Gillespie and Glenn McGrath and stuff like that. I just love, sitting on the couch, sometimes falling asleep to the cricket. So yeah, cricket's just been around, and it's never. I love Test match cricket, just like DC said in the last video. I love Test cricket. I love just the grind, the batting out for days, just waiting for the correct ball to come, and that to me is literally is a test. So of your will and stuff like that, and it really can grind you so to the end. So yeah, cricket's my number 5.
Nice.
Good choice.
A newish sport I've jumped on the bandwagon like a lot of people in lockdown, I think, and that's F1, Formula 1.
Oof.
I used to watch it back in the day when it was on like Channel 9 in the afternoon. We had Nigel Mansell going around and all these people, but the documentary that's on Netflix obviously got me back into it. I watched that probably 3 years ago now. This is really my 3rd year I've been watching it. I stay up now. I watch the qualifying the night before. I'll stay up. They're usually on, if they're in Europe, on about 11 p.m. So I'll stay up and watch the whole thing, and on a Sunday night, which Monday makes it a bit of a killer. But I love it now. The strategy, there's and at the moment it's really good because you've got the old guy in Hamilton who's won everything, and the new guy Verstappen who's coming in to try and take over the crown. So it's really, really interesting, and he's a bit of a loose cannon if it's happened, so anything can happen.
Love Verstappen. He gives no F's at all. He's out there to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, and they say being an F1 driver, you've got to have balls of steel really to try and get in there in those little gaps, and he has no fear at all.
Yeah, no. And he's like only like 21 or something like that now.
Yeah, he's like 23 maybe, and he
started when he was like 17 or something like that. He didn't even have a driver's license, and he was driving F1.
Yeah. So he's one of those sons of a former F1 driver as well, or race car driver. So he's got the DNA in him. But yeah, F1, love it.
I love F1. I got really hardcore into it about 2 or 3 years ago. This year has been the first year I haven't followed it 100%. I like qualifying better than the actual race because I feel like it's more fun. Like it's the fastest lap. So and then you got a time limit. People get knocked out of the certain stages. So I always when it comes to Melbourne, I always go to the qualifying.
Okay, nice. I've been once, only with mates, and just went out for the day for a bit. It was hard because you sit in one spot and you're just doing this all day, and you don't see anything. But yeah, I love watching it. It's good sport.
Oh well, my number 5 is. I tell you, this sport is just a test of mental strength. You got to focus. You got to, mate. I love it, and that's croquet. I'm joking. I'm just waiting for someone to say something. Golf.
It's there sometimes, just quietly. Croquet.
I've seen that. Watching on KO Sports actually a bit, but golf. No, golf. I think like a game that when I want to go and test myself, that's the sport that I go and play. Because the game is like there's no such thing as having a perfect game. I don't care how much of a golfer you claim to be. Like either your putting's off one day or your driving's off one day. Just for me, just one day. There's always just one thing that's off: my short game, my long game, or my putting. But it's just, I love it because it's a mental game. like with me, like the first 9 holes, I'm always peaking really good, doing good. But then once I have that one shit hole, that's when I just go downhill, and that's when I actually start to like it, because it's like, come on, Matt, you got to focus. Let's go. We can, get back on track. And I just think it's a really good mental game, a good game to play with your mates and have a beer with, and have a chat as well. But I do watch it as well. I won't sit there and watch it religiously, but if it's on while I'm sitting there, I will watch it. I just think it's a great test. It's a hard sport. Like, it's a very hard sport. Like, you got to put this little ball in a little hole, and you've got to do it in a certain amount of shots. But yeah, I love my golf. Love it.
It's a sport that I enjoy better watching than actual playing, because all mine won't go slicing. But
dude, when I tee up, right, the hole's that way. I team up, so I'm hitting it that way. So
yeah,
my slicing actually goes right down the middle. I've perfected.
Yeah, slicing right down the middle. Perfect.
I'm better off teeing off with a 3-iron, because it at least goes straighter then and goes flatter.
Every time everyone's like, Matt, man, your folk. I mean, they can just watch, bang, slice it. Oh my god, shit, okay, Steve, don't worry. But then there will be that one off where I actually hit it straight. And it's like,
I would love to play golf decently. It would be frustrating, but it would be good to actually get a handle on.
Good fun. Number 4, Mark.
Number 4, I'm going to go with another boring, kind of relaxing sport, baseball. So I've loved baseball. I lived in Canada for a couple of years, and in the winter it was football. There was a NFL bar. I'll go there. So in the summer I'd go to that same bar and go watch my Detroit Tigers, and they had like 15 TVs, so it was every game on. I used to always go. There was tradition for me, and there was like other dudes there that was there every weekend. So yeah, I don't know. It's another sport that's always relaxed me. I love the pitching aspect, so I guess that's kind of like the cricket bowler in me as well. I love the pitching aspect and the fact of your rotations, your bullpen, your closers. It all counts. Every single one of them is going to get called upon, and you got to be on your game. I mean, there could be guys that get half an innings pitching, and you just got to be on. And I always loved it. I loved, like, it is fun to play too, baseball. Like, everybody knows the baseball rules pretty much, so it's not really. And I've been to a few Melbourne Aces games, and they've been pretty fun too. So yeah, baseball's just a sport that I've always loved. And when I decided, I think it was mid-2000s, I decided to really focus on the Detroit Tigers. I remember there was one season, I think it was 2006, I watched all 182 games.
Wow.
And I was hardcore into the fantasy and stuff like that. And I almost won the 50 grand one year with the fantasy. I just missed out. Yeah, I was hardcore into it. Then over the years, baseball, because when I come back to Australia, it's during footy season. So you toss it, and it does take up a lot of time. So not as hardcore anymore, but I still do follow the scores, watch a game every now and again. And we were in Washington when they won the World Series 2 years ago as well. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
So anyway, baseball.
Yeah, like I lived in the UK for 2 years, and they had it on like every couple of nights, but they'd cross back to like the studio and had like a host, an American guy in there. They'd explain everything, what's happening. That really got me into it for a while, and it was like 2003, so it was just before the Red Sox finally won. So that was the team I picked.
That's in time, man.
So yeah, I didn't jump on the bandwagon. But it was a good time to jump on it. But yeah, it's good background noise too. Baseball game, so you don't have to watch everything. But I can't believe you watched every game one year. That's amazing.
It's the only time I did it. Yeah, I remember I used to rush home from work and go, "All right, it's the game." Yeah, so it was on like 5 days a week. Yeah,
yes, that's dedication.
Yeah.
My number 4 a few years ago. This would have been a lot higher. I haven't watched as much recently as I always have, and that's the NBA basketball. I've been a fan, since Jordan was around and that sort of thing in mid 90s, and collected all the basketball cards when that blew up. But I love watching basketball. Like I said, I haven't watched it the last couple of years. My team's not in it anymore, and that's the Sonics. And B, I'll generally try and follow. I follow players more now. I'll watch some of my favorite players always watch the finals, at least up to the conference finals and the NBA finals. But once my team comes back, which they will in the next few years, I'll get back in heavy, and like Mark did with baseball, I'll be watching every Sonics game like I do with a couple other teams coming up, other sports of teams coming up. But yeah, NBA.
Well, my number 4, which I'm just going to say, and then I'm sure you guys have it higher up on your list and you can discuss about it, because I don't know shit about the players, to be honest, but it's a sport that from there I like watching. Prefer college, but, it's NFL. I know you guys are going to go on forever about it, but man, I like to say, I don't know the players and that, but I just love watching the game. I love the plays. I buy Madden. But like I said, I'm not one of those, not one of you guys that study the game, love the game, have a team. I did, we used to play it at school back in probably when I was, 2099, when they only played one game a year here, and that was the Super Bowl on SBS pretty much. And, I used to always love it, but then, I don't know, I just stopped really religiously. I used to go for St. Louis Rams, who I don't think are around anymore, but yeah, man, it's on. I was going to put XFL, but they only came out for a season. I actually really enjoyed the XFL. I was the Guardians. I was jumped on the Guardians, but now that the Rock's bought it and bringing it back, I definitely am going to pick a team and really get into that. But yeah, NFL is my number 4, and when you guys get to it, you can talk about it. So Mark, who's your number 3?
Yeah, well, I just like to mention too, baseball's 162 games. Sorry, not 182. 163.
180, 162 is still a lot, man.
Yeah.
I was plus playoffs, but you probably didn't play playoffs that year.
We did actually, yeah. Yeah, it was our breakout year. So right. Miggy and all that came along, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
So number 3, I am going to go with the Aussie sport AFL, Aussie rules football. So we grew up playing. It's second nature to all of us, pretty much Aussies. It's just what's talked about footy, isn't it? If you're around Melbourne area and at work in Melbourne, or someone's got something to say about footy. So yeah, and I grew up in a small town where it's the only thing that really mattered, to be honest. I mean, like you grew up to be a football player. If you weren't a football player, no one was interested. And yeah, it was pretty, not a great environment, but yeah, it's the way the town was, I guess. But yeah, obviously a big hardcore Pie supporter, and still keep up with my local footy and stuff like that. And yeah, played the game a bit myself too. So yeah, footy is my number 3.
Yep. I've got mine coming up, so I'll say a few things about that when mine's coming up. My number 3 is, I won't say too much about it because Mark's already mentioned it. That's cricket for me too. Number 3, and like I said, Test match cricket is what I love. It reminds me of summer. It reminds me of hot weather and that sort of thing. Been to a few, obviously, Boxing Day tests. I don't go to the cricket as often as you'd probably think I would, but I do enjoy just sitting at home watching it. I love the Perth tests when you finish work and you can come home and you watch it at night up until like 11 o'clock at night. It's magic. Love it. So won't speak too much on it because everything Mark said I agree with 100%. So it's cricket for number 3 for me.
The Adelaide test now, that's a day-nighter as well. So yeah with the pink ball.
Yeah, the pink ball. Does a bit.
It moves. It moves.
My number 3 is, being a European boy, we grow up with this. It's football, also known as soccer here again in Australia and in America. Man, like now I don't watch, like I used to religiously watch my Chelsea, get up, all times of the night, morning. I'll even watch all the games. Like I used to watch all the games from Foxtel back in the day, but I know I'm sooking here, and Drew, you're a bit older than me. I'm 35 and my body just can't take those late nights, all-nighters, so I don't really watch it anymore. I will, though, World Cup time, Euro time. Now that I have a beautiful South American girlfriend, I can finally follow a South American team. She's Colombian, so I've always loved Colombia, so I'm on the Colombian wagon watching all their games. They won me some money last time, so I'm happy with that. But, man, I was in Greece for the World Cup, and I got to watch Greece funny enough, play Colombia at like at one of the restaurants where Colombia beat us, and kicked us. We just didn't make it through the group stage, but everyone in Greece was just celebrating because I was just happy to be there. But football for me is just one of the sports. I was an Italian supporter. I'm half Italian, half Greek. I was an Italian supporter, but the Italian football team I used to go for Juventus. I buried them 6 feet under the ground when they took the dive and cost us a round 16 game with Lucas Nils, we all remember. And that was a day I'm no longer Italian because I was very passionate football support. So I'm Greece, Australia, and Colombia now. So Italy, I don't want to hear nothing about it anymore. I'm just over him. Forgive me. But football was my number 3.
I love watching soccer. I can only really watch soccer when like big teams playing, like it's a Liverpool, Chelsea, or something like that. But give me a World Cup or a Euro, I'll watch it.
World Cup, I always take the last 2 weeks off.
Oh yeah,
work I take off 2 weeks off, and I'm watching every game, man. I love the World Cup.
Yeah,
love the World Cup.
Yeah.
What are we up to? Number 2, aren't we, Mark?
Number 2, yes, I am going to go for sports. So NFL. So my gridiron's my number 2. So I've followed it since 1992. So I picked up a Sega Mega Drive game that was a guy holding the football. And I thought, me being 8 years old, it was a AFL football. So I brought it and I'm just going, how come I can't kick the football when I was playing it and stuff like that? And I realized it was gridiron and there is an actual different sport out there where you throw it. And, I just became passionate as the years went on. I remember because I tied the Bengals to my local town, Rochester. They're Rochester Tigers, their local football team is. So that's why I became a Bengals supporter, because there's no Collingwood colour teams. So I just picked the Bengals because they were Tiger colours. And that's became my love of the Bengals. And as the years went on, a few of my mates jumped on board. And then we just got hardcore into it. We loved the tactic behind it. We always used to, in our 20s, instead of going out, we'd all go around, have a couple of beers and play Madden. We all go a position and we all pick the random team, like guys from all our favourite teams. We all put them in the one team and one guy's a quarterback, the other guy's wide receiver, and just get the tactics into it. And as the game goes on, anybody else that comes in, they can't speak to us because we're on the screen. We go, hang on, this play's got to work. This has got to work. This is a third down. We've got to stop them and stuff like that. It's like a chess game. I find it really interesting. People that are not that much into it, I understand because it's confusing. It's slow. I understand. But for me, the tactics behind it, every player counts. I find that fascinating. And the fact is, you come up a high school or something like that and you're a cornerback, that's you for the rest of your life. That's the position you are going to play. Get good at that position. So if you're an offensive lineman, you're a bit of a bigger guy, stay big. That's your position for the rest of your life and sort of like that. And you see a lot of offensive linemen, after they retire, they get really fit and trim.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So NFL number 2 for me.
Well, I'm going to follow that straight away because NFL's number 2 for me. I mean, I'll go 1A, 1B here, to be honest with you, with my number 1. But NFL is that. As I said, I'm a little bit older than you guys, I think. So I started a little bit earlier watching the game of the week on ABC with Don Lane. That's how I found it. And I always loved American stuff, so I was always going to get into NFL. But I'm that guy, like Matt. Matt, you said, you're getting a bit old to watch, getting up so early to watch games, staying up, and that sort of thing. I've always had the mentality is I'll do a blackout. So on Mondays, I black out from the internet. I don't go on the internet at all. Don't pick up my phone. So when I get home, it's all live. So I'll watch my team. I'm a long-suffering Miami Dolphins fan. It's been a horrible decades, 30, 40 years. We haven't done much. We've obviously had one great player in Dan Marino, but they just couldn't build the team around him. We went to the Super Bowl in his second year and didn't sniff it again till after that for the rest of his career. But yeah, I'll watch my team play every week. I've got the Game Pass. I watch every down. and then I'll watch 2 or 3 other games on a Monday of teams I like, and then I'll watch the highlights of every game. So I see everything. I've always loved the sport. I did the fantasy. I don't do it anymore. I've seen my team play. Thankfully, I've seen your team play actually, Mark, as well. I did an American trip, so we did four games in 3 weeks, and we actually said even though I'm a Dolphins fan, I've got a massive bromance with Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time. I love him. I shouldn't because he's in my division and he killed us every year.
Montana is, but anyway, kick on.
No, he's not. And we built the trip around that. So we saw Tom Brady in Pittsburgh with Troy Polamalu, who was one of my other favorite players. We've discussed before. On a Sunday night football, it was great. Brilliant game. We had brilliant seats. Saw your Bengals Thanksgiving night actually in New York. Unfortunately, didn't win. My mate who I went with was a Bengals fan, so that's why we got that game. But yeah, NFL is, I love it. It's too short a season. I understand why it's short, but I take the Super Bowl off work every day, every year. Everyone knows that. So NFL, love it. I love the NFL.
Yeah, and me and 2 other mates did the same thing that you would have done. We did a trip to the US and just watched football games and drove the car. We hired a car and we drove to 3 different games. And in between, like if we were going past the city, if there was an NBA game on, we'd stop there. We went to a wrestling, like a WWE wrestling live show in Indiana on our way to Cincinnati and stuff like that. And I got an NFL Game Pass as well, but I'm the guy that can't black myself out. I have to know the score if it's there. So I get up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I just have to do it because my body will wake up. Even now, like first game of the season, 3 a.m., like I set my alarm at 10 to 3, and I'm awake before it. So because my body just knows you've got to get up for that Bengals game.
Yeah.
So
I've been doing it for so years. I used to do it for the NBA as well. I'd black out from an NBA game when I was at work. It's obviously it's a lot later in the day. I'll black out and I'll just go home and I'll watch it live. And everyone knows now. Don't message Drew about any sport that's on at the moment. They always check with you. Are you in blackout today? What's going on? So I do that all the time. I love it.
I tried that with the soccer, but I'm one of those, if I'm not watching it live, I don't watch it. It's the same as the basketball. I need it. I can't watch a replay. I need to watch it live. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes when I'm watching the sport, I'll get onto my phone or whatnot. If I know I have the power to fast forward it to the end.
Yeah, that's me too. And that's why I just don't find out the score, because I have that in me. Like, I already know the score. Why am I watching this? I know what's going on.
Yeah, but even if I don't know the score, I'll just, like, if I'm not enjoying the game, I'm like, fuck it. I just want to see the results and fast forward it. Where if I'm live, you have to watch it.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Like, sometimes I will find out a score. Like, I'll put a bet on or something, and my mate's like, did you win? You won. Like, forgetting. And like, or forget, I'll open Facebook and bang, straight away, like, Dolphins lost. I'm like, so why am I watching this then? I know we're going to lose. You know what I mean? So instead of like the whole game, I'll do a 40-minute game.
Takes a little bit out of it again, because I can't black myself out. I have to know. Like being a Pistons fan, I always have to wait till I get home and watch it. So I know the score going into it, and a few times I'm a little less motivated to watch it. Yeah. But then I just try and focus on the plays or who played well or something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's definitely it takes it out of it.
Yeah.
Well, my second favourite sport is, you guys have already said it, is AFL, the Australian Football League, for international viewers. Man, I'll tell you a funny story. I played it all the way up to under 16, so I played it for a good 9 years. It took me 4 years playing in the forward pocket to kick my first goal. That's how good I was. My cousin, I played on the same team as my cousin. He, gave me the look, like, raise, yep, look, I'm going to kick it to you. He kicked it, and I was all on my own, just walking, kicking the grass, looking at the ground like shit. No one's kicking me the ball. And, he kicked it to me and I marked it. And I was probably I would have been 11, or it would have been under 12. So it would have been 11 or 12. And I just made a distance from the top of the goal square. So for people that are wondering how far that kick is, it's literally, I think, 10 meters? 10 meters. Not even. And I just cleared it, and they all picked me up like, fuck, we won the grand final or some shit and celebrated. I won best on ground. We would get a pair of socks and a voucher to go get a burger at McDonald's. It was my only kick of the game, and it was just a celebration that, hey, Matt, you spent 4 years in the forward pocket and you finally kicked the goal. And then probably took another couple of years after that to kick another goal. But yeah, I love watching it as well. Like, it's just, I love my team, North Melbourne. Love watching it. It's just, I'm one of those people that I'm not really big on all the rules changes, but it is what it is. We've got to eventually adapt to it and try to enjoy it still. But yeah, man, I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to get into the women's AFL, but it's just very low scoring, man. Like, I think they should shorten the field or something just to make it a bit more entertaining. But yeah, man, AFL, WAFL, they're my number 2. So who you've got? Number 1, we're up to? Who's your number 1, Mark?
My number 1 is basketball. So it's it's a sport that I can watch, like, any team, anytime. I don't care. Like, most mornings, like, I don't usually start work till 9:30, which also helps with the NFL season. I can go back to bed after a while. But so I'll just get up a bit earlier. Always get up a bit early because I don't have to start work till 9:30. So I still get up at like 6 a.m. or 5:45, just because it's just better for body clock and stuff like that. And I always put on NBA games, just watch them, because just by myself, have breakfast, relax for the morning, and I could just watch it all day. Sometimes I tried out basketball coaching for a couple of years, so I used to write down notes that teams were playing, and it's just a sport I always loved. I really enjoyed. I always thought it was the funnest game to play for me personally. It was the funnest game to play. I loved it. My 2 best mates, they were really good at basketball too. So the 3 of us together was a lot of fun. Like, we knew each other. We grew up. We knew each other since 4 years old. So by the time we got to 18, we just knew exactly what we were going to do. And we're all different players. So yeah, I always enjoyed it. So I was a football player because, as I said, the town just sort of pushed me into it. But yeah, and then obviously, if you get pushed into it and you do okay, you get a bit of money for footy. So I went down that track. But basketball is just something I always enjoyed more. The team aspect, the swagger sometimes you can get through it, or just the fun. And my always funnest thing in sports, or the thing that always gets me excited in sports, is a block shot.
Yep.
I watch it on the TV, and my girlfriend sometimes with me, and she's not paying attention. A block shot comes on, I just automatically, no matter what, I just go, "Ooh!" I go like that, and I'll just say it out loud. It's just like a reaction for me. Sometimes I try not to, but I just see it, I go, "Ooh!" Yeah.
And when you're playing it, when you get a block, mate, you feel
mate,
get
the combo out.
Mate, played it for 26 years now. Never done a block shot. The one thing I have never accomplished in a game. But anyway,
it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
When you get it, you have to get all your mates to do what they did to you when you kick your first goal.
Yeah, first goal, throw me up.
They'll take it back. Get a cheeseburger.
You got nieces and nephews, right? Just take them on if they're like 5
done
years
that.
old.
Believe me, I let my frustration out on that. Don't you worry about that. Oh, I don't give a shit. My niece started playing, and I was like, boom. Even when I was like, because I coached in that as well, same thing. I did it to the kids at training, but like playing it, no, never done it.
But you're right. Basketball, playing with mates is the best sport to play. Really, I mean, backyard cricket or whatever, but playing basketball, like I played, just with mates at the Broadmeadows League, just at Broady Stadium on Monday nights. Most fun I've ever had. It was great. Yeah.
You got number 1, DC?
Sorry?
You got number 1?
AFL. So AFL. I had to put AFL number 1. I'm a Hawthorn supporter. I've been very lucky through my whole life, to be honest with you. The most successful club since 1960. No one's even close. But I watch my team play every week. If I haven't got plans, I'll watch every game during the week. I'll watch at least a quarter or a half of every game during the week if I've got no plans. So I can watch anyone. I mean, the rules can be a bit shit sometimes, but you live with it because things change. And
dude,
I'm not one of
I was at the game, the North Melbourne. What's his name, when he kicked it off the side of his boot, going for goal, and we got deliberate out of bounds on the full.
Oh yeah. My whole reasoning is like, umpires don't decide games because there's so many mistakes.
No, they don't.
Game, players' skill errors, that sort of thing. So that doesn't bother me. Nah. You win or you lose by the team and your coach. That's how it works.
I think when you start blaming an umpire for your loss, it's a slippery slope. I mean, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, because you see that, then you forget. Oh, that guy missed the goal 20 meters out, directly in front. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
Or he missed the target right in the center and turned the ball over and it cost a goal. Blah blah. So obviously grew up playing footy. Airport West Eagles, give them a shout out.
Airport West. I played a Tulla, but anyway, I played Tulla.
Okay. No worries. Airport. I say that because Mark, the theme song was the Collingwood theme song. We didn't sing it that often though, to be honest with you. Never played a foul in my whole career. But yeah, I was one of those skinny midfielders, so eventually I had to sort of choose between that and something else, and I went to athletics. But yeah, I love the AFL. I mean, I look forward to it every year it comes. Even if we're shit, I watch it every game, every second. Never turn it off.
Man, I actually really enjoy watching Hawthorn this year. Like Will Day, Scrimshaw.
Yeah.
Good young calls.
And that's why that three-peat was so enjoyable, because I was so invested. I'd watch every game, all those players, to Luke Hodge from when he was drafted. I'd watch every game. Pretty much been to every game. I was going every single week. I don't do that so much anymore. I've got kids and that sort of thing. And you're getting a bit older and you can't be bothered driving that far. But yeah, I've been lucky following the team I have too. So I know that too. So I'm okay with down years.
Nice. Well,
Matty.
My number one, obviously, haven't said it yet, and my favorite sports person played this sport, so it's basketball. But to me, man, like, it is just people. It's more than a game to me, man. It's a life. It's like I don't want to seem all depressive or whatnot, but growing up, I had a bit of a rough childhood, and just on the basketball court was the only time all you need to do, Matt, is get that ball in the ring. That's it. Didn't have to worry about anything else in the world. And to me, it was just more of it was an outlet to get away. Like every time I felt upset or I had an argument with someone or a fight with someone, like something wrong in life, I'd go to the basketball court and that's it, man. I was free. I just felt the freedom. And then it was like that when I played it. Not to brag, but I was a very decent player, played rep, nearly made the junior Melbourne Tigers. I loved it. I was a very good point guard. Could really control the court. I'm going to talk myself up. I'll get cocky because then people, I'll beat you. All right, well, let's throw down some money and we'll play. And I always walk away with a big smile on my face. But yeah, man, it's a sport that just to me, I just love it. It's just a lifestyle. When it I coached Killer Thunder, and like, man, I can tell you our coaching is just as freaking great as it is playing. Like the thing I love about coaching is you can't get out there and like you want to get out there and do it, but you just can't, and you got to just, man, it really tests your knowledge when you're a coach. Like when you're a player, you're always thinking, oh man, shut up, coach. Just give me the ball and I'll do it, whatever. And then when you start as a coach, man, it's just a harder thing, man. But had to give it up because then obviously retail, they started changing our working schedule and they weren't really lenient with it. Now that I've got a Monday to Friday job, man, I'd love to go back into it. Man, growing up, I played in 10, 11 finals, never won one. Like, it was shattering. And then just playing an open age down, we played at Caroline Springs, used to play at Keilor, got banned from Keilor, got banned from Sunshine. I did get into a lot of stuff. I have a hard head when it comes to basketball, man.
White line fever.
Hey?
White line fever.
Yeah. I got banned from a couple of arenas, but Caroline Springs played down there and remember winning a final. It was B grade, but it's good enough for me. And man, I cried because it was like, this is the one thing that I've never done. Coaching, man, they could make a movie about it. Coaching Taylor's Lakes basketball team. I took a bunch of kids. I'm not trying to brag. It's just a beautiful story. I love telling it. I took a bunch of kids. These kids played together, from under 10s all the way up to under 18s. I took them in their first year of under 18s. I promised them they had only won 4 games within all those years. And I just promised them, I said, listen, we're going to go to B grade. And they've only played D grade. I said, we're going to go to B grade. They were all scared. They were worried. I said, just trust me. Just trust me. I will get us there. I was Coach Carter. They got smart. They all did all over. I love that movie. And man, I took these kids that only won 4 games in their whole life. The first year, we just missed out on finals. They won 8 or 9 games. And then the second year, we went unbeaten. Took on Keilor Village in the final. Fuck Keilor Village. There's always bloody... That team it's the team that all the refs play for, all the, coach, it's they get looked after. Let's just say that. And I said that in my speech. Like, I was a very bitter person in my speech, and the parents that the kids played for, they were all thanking me. But yeah, I took these kids to the final. I was very shattered, but man, it made me cry because I like, Matt, we made it to a final. We only ever won 4 games. Like, you know what I mean? You've gave us something that we thought we'd never cheat. Just knowing that I helped these kids. So to me, it's like more than a game. Like, I know I sound like I was bragging then, but it's touched me like here, the sport.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
it's just a beautiful, awesome. And that's why I love it, man. And I'll always love it. I get very, I get annoyed when there's some shitty games on, but man, I'm very passionate. But yeah, I'm getting back into the NBL now. So I'm wrapped. Southeast Melbourne are in it. I was a North Melbourne Giants supporter. Then obviously we went, and then the Titans came. They went, and so Southeast Melbourne back in the day. I think North Melbourne Giants and the Magic merged.
Yeah, it was East Melbourne and South Melbourne, wasn't it? They called it the Southeast Melbourne Magic.
Yeah,
And then I think because North Melbourne also merged into either Southeast, or they merged into.
Maybe it was after that. Maybe it was after that because it was always Magic.
Coburg turned into North Melbourne Giants.
Giants, yeah.
And then North Melbourne Giants went into Magic, became Magic. So who was Magic first?
Nah, Magic is South.
Because it was Magic Giants Tigers most years. Those three always challenged for the because DMAC was on the Giants, remember?
Yeah. That's 3 different teams, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But anyway, I'm going for Southeast Melbourne.
It was the Spectres and the Saints or something. They merged. Yeah.
Yeah, the Spectres, that's it.
Yeah, the South Dragons for a few years. Joe Ingles played.
Dragons. Yeah, that was Mark Price was the coach, remember?
Yeah, Shane Hill was there, wasn't
he? Yeah. Pardon?
Yeah.
Shane Hill was there too, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your top 5 favourite sports. Man, you can talk forever about sports, I'll tell you now. So we're definitely going to, now that COVID's done up and sports are back, we're going to have to catch up and go to a bar for a drink and watch some. But yeah, guys, let us know in the comment section below what your favourite sports are, how passionate you're about it, why you love them. As always, hit the subscribe button. Enjoy it. Give the thumbs up. Hit subscribe over at Direct Market Variant as well. Look after those boys. Got the links in there below. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you guys soon with another sport video.
Cheers.
Cheers.